Good morning, everyone. Welcome to News in Motion. If you're tuning in live with us here at 7:25 a.m., whether if you're catching the replay, whether it be in the afternoon, the evening, or near the nighttime, we just want to say thank you for tuning in, no matter what time of day. Today is Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, and we have our segment That's Happening Tuesday today. Whether you're tuning in through audio and podcast or LinkedIn or YouTube, be sure that you like, subscribe, and invite a few friends and let them know that you're tuning into News in Motion. This is your first time tuning in. News in Motion is a news media outlet with relevant commentary and call to action. We can also be found, like I said, on LinkedIn and YouTube as well. For our audio and podcast listeners, be sure that you are turning those dials to NIM today and keeping your eyes on the road. But if you have the chance to be stationary, let us know how you are doing in the chat as well. For those who are in Columbus, Ohio, if you had the opportunity to check out Graduation Sunday this past Sunday from New Salem, it was an amazing occasion. Congratulations again to all the graduates of 2024. So, as you were grabbing your pen, your paper, and inviting a few friends, we'll be right back after this brief intro.
Motion.
Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm sitting there going, wait a minute, he didn't shout out anybody. So let me do that real quick. I see you, Adrian. Good morning to you. He's in the green talking about, I didn't. I see you, Kim Edmondson. Good morning to you. I see you, Regina Shorts. Good morning to you. What's up, Marion Jackson? Good morning to you. Rosanna Bivens, good morning to you. Virgie, yay! Good morning to you. What's happening there in Virginia? I see you, Deborah Johnson. Good morning to you. Hopefully you got your rest in. I see you are not playing today. I see you, Dr. Annette Jackson. Good morning to you. And I see you, Dr. Bryce. Good morning to you. Good morning, everyone. It is a great day to be alive. Can somebody say hello to that? We have a lot of news. I'll tell y'all, we have a lot of news. And so I'm sitting here trying to decide if something has to be pushed to the next day or pushed to Friday Rundown. I'm asking God to show me, to reveal that to me so that I can do it effectively. So it is Tuesday, y'all, June the 11th, 2024. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. For everyone who's new that's popping in here, we see those YouTube numbers increasing and we see the audio numbers increasing. And we know that everyone's not always actually in the chat or typing in, but I still want to say thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for trusting me with giving you some factual news. All of our news is factual, but what we give little portion sizes, and we encourage you to go check it out for yourself. I see you, Tracy Newmy, popping in here as well. Y'all, we have a lot of news, but let me give you some reminders first. This week and next. Are y'all ready for this? We're just like any, what's up, Fred Jones? We're just like any other seasonal episode type show. Okay. We give you this broadcast. We've tried to mirror other broadcasts, not with their content, but with how they do things. We watch and we do our assessments and our evaluations to see the ebb and flow of the way things are going. So y'all have us today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Then you will have us next week, which is anniversary week, y'all. That's 4 years. That is 4 years. And what we're asking everyone to do, and I signed off on this from the advisory team. I said, y'all don't sneak and do it. Just tell me, because they're good with sneaking and doing things. So I signed off on it. So what we're asking everyone to do now, this is very simple. We're asking you to go to our Cash App, which is NIM Today. Go to our Cash App, which is NIM Today, and just Cash App us $4. We're just asking for $4. We're just trying to continue the content. We got documents that we want to send out to people. There's some legwork that we're trying to do going into this general election. So to help us celebrate, we're just asking for $4. Now, if you want to give more than $4, you can do that. But go to our Cash App, which is NIM Today, and just Cash App us. Now, let's say you don't have Cash App and you want to Zelle us, you can do so. Just inbox us. We'll give you the Zelle number to do that as well. Or if you want to send us a check, you can do that by sending it to Making a Difference. And I believe Isaiah be on it. 346 and a half North High Street, Columbus, Ohio, 43203. And then put in the memo section or put in the letter that this is for News in Motion. So we just really want y'all to join us with that. So next week will be anniversary week. We're going to try to do some fun things, but we got to be serious as well. Make that make sense, right? And then we will take a 2-week break for just a break. We got to gather ourselves. And then Young People Takeover will take over July. They will be out here, I believe it's July the 9th, and they will go their 3 weeks in July. And as you know, we are on break all of August. So with that, I'm trying to see if I'm catching everything I'm supposed to say there. You will see me probably July the 18th. I'll bust in on the young people because the RNC convention is July 15th through 18th. That's a Monday through Thursday. So it is my hope to jump on here if I can handle it on Thursday the 18th with the young people, just to give like a recap of what's going on there. I see you, Pastor Alex. Good morning to you. I see you, Dr. Antoinette. Good morning to you. So yes, y'all. So that's the lineup. Again, we'll be here this week and next week. Next week, we'll celebrate our 4-year anniversary. Again, what we're asking all of you to do, the advisory team asked me to do this, and I did sign off on it. If you would just Cash App us $4, just $4. If you want to give more, you can. Cash App us at NIM Today, your $4. Or if you want to do Zelle, again, inbox me. We'll give you the Zelle information. Or if you want to send a check, you can do that as well. So that's our celebration. We'll go on break. And then the Young People Takeover will happen July the 9th. That will go to the end of July the 31st. I will pop on, if I can handle it, July the 18th to talk about the RNC, the recap. Although they will not close out, so you won't hear from the former guy, if he's not in jail, you won't hear from the former guy until Thursday night. And I'm not coming on Friday, July 19th, because that's my birthday. And he's not going to mess up my birthday. So that's what's going to happen. Thank you, Tracy Numi. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then we will have a break in August, and we will return September 2024. And I'm going to warn all of you now, we're going to be heavy content on voting registration, voting participation, things that are coming up on different measures, not just in Ohio, but all over, like we always do. We're going to give you as many of the last day to register to vote dates as we possibly can. So we're going to be hitting you with all of that type of information. Y'all, leading up to Juneteenth, again, we're partnering with When We All Vote for Juneteenth. The packets we'll post those in the Friday rundown this Friday. We may send something out sooner than that to give you a packet if you want to sign up. We're not doing anything special. We're partnering with them. So all the information will be with them. So look for that. Dr. Antoinette, podcast from Cell Block T. Listen, I hear you. All right, y'all, so let's get started. Justice Clarence Thomas. He discloses trips paid for by the GOP donor as Justice Reports Financial. So that happened. What's up, Davia? And yeah, let me just give you some of this that was in some of what they disclosed. So we have Clarence Thomas. He disclosed a lot of his elaborate travel and the donors. And then you also, now I have to give her credit, you also have Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who reported, y'all get this, I'm like, kudos to you, sister. She reported nearly $900,000 in advance for her upcoming memoir. Y'all, she dotted every I and crossed every T. That's how you put it out there. Because they're gonna come after her, right? So she said, let me tell y'all before it even happens. So she reported over 900,000. Y'all are so kind. Y'all, all right, team. So y'all were right. The team was like, fight, I fight them. And they were like, just say for 4 years to cash app us $4 to celebrate 4 years so we can continue to do the work. And I was like, y'all, we don't have to worry about it. But thank y'all. Thank y'all for doing that. So yeah, so that's what she did. And it was just crazy. And then she also, y'all, talked about the 4 tickets she purchased to the Beyonce concert. I was like, go on, girl, just tell them you bought some tickets to the Beyonce concert for $3,700. Actually, she got a deal, if you ask me, for 4 people with $3,700. Thank y'all. Y'all are so. All right, team, y'all won. I was like, y'all don't do that, but I see y'all. They knew what they was doing. I gotta start listening to the millennials, right? And then you have Justice Brett Kavanaugh reported being paid. Y'all, okay, let me tell you the number: $340,000 by a conservative publishing company. Now, I don't know why that was necessary to say a conservative publishing company. Yeah, I don't know. But he reported it, 340,000. I don't know if I want to read his book though, but okay, whatever. Now the company that paid him was sold, and the book is to be published by an imprint from a Hatchet book group, according to Axios. So I don't know what all that is, and I'm still trying to connect those dots, and it's really hard to find, but as soon as I find it, of course, I'll let you all know. And then Justice Neil Gorsuch, excuse me, and Sonia Sotomayor reported royalty income of $250,000 and $90,000. I'm like, y'all getting paid. What y'all do? Let me get over there with y'all. And then, their day jobs, they get paid $298,000 this year, except for Roberts, who gets $312,000. What y'all doing? I just want to know what y'all doing to get paid like that. And y'all not taking care of all of the American people. So he put it out there. I'm still waiting to see what Samuel Alito. I need to see his reporting. How much was that flag, dude? How much was that flag? Now get this, y'all. I gave y'all those low numbers. Now, Ketanji, Justice Ketanji, 900,000 in advance. But y'all, Clarence Thomas received 1.5 million. Yeah, for a book deal. What was that book? What's that book about? Kim Edmondson said they are getting paid, like serious pay. So y'all, they were just talking about other gifts and things like that. Y'all, now this one I thought was very interesting as well. Justice Thomas said he was given 2 photo albums worth $200,000. I'm sorry, not $200,000, $2,000. Let me correct myself, $2,000. That's like $1,000 a piece for a photo album. Explain that to me. I just need somebody to explain that to me. Yeah. And then kudos again to Justice Jackson, Brown Jackson, who received artwork for her Supreme Court office worth $12,500. Yeah. Interesting. Just interesting. When I grow up, I want to be like them, right? Like something. But y'all Google this for yourselves just to see. It's a lot of money. So y'all, speaking of Justice Samuel Alito, I want to give this. What's up, Donita? I want to give this as a why. This is a prime example as to why we must question some news. Now, AP is reporting this, and they're normally on point, but I'm confused. So this is a direct quote from the AP. It says, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is heard questioning whether compromise between the left and right is possible in a conversation posted on social media on yesterday. This was on Monday. The conservative justice is also heard agreeing with the woman who says the United States should return to a place of godliness. And this is all on X. You can Google and hear this for yourself. Now, the audio was posted by the liberal filmmaker Lauren Windsor. Keyword there, liberal, y'all. So when I'm reading, I'm pulling out all the keywords so I get a clear understanding of what I'm reading and why I'm reading it, and then all the different alerts and supporting information. All right. Now, she said it was recorded at the Supreme Court Historical Society's annual dinner last week. Then there's a quote she puts in her that says, on one side or the other is going to win. Now, this is a quote from Justice Alito. There can be a way of working, a way of living together peacefully, but it's difficult, because there are differences on fundamental things that really can't be compromised. This is all his direct quote. Now, in this reporting, it says Windsor then told Alito. Now, remember, Windsor is the liberal filmmaker. Now, we all know what liberal means, right? Is the liberal filmmaker. They have this quote that supposedly she said, but it doesn't make sense if she's a liberal. So listen, based upon our understanding of liberal, again, this is how I process and fact check and see what's happening. And some of you have asked me, how do I do this? Now, they give her quote as saying, I think the solution really is like winning the moral argument. Like people in this country who believe in God, we got to keep fighting for that to return our country to a place of godliness. That doesn't sound like a liberal, not their belief in God, but the returning the country portion. So a lot of people are asking some of the same questions I'm asking, like, did Lauren Windsor say this? Or did Justice Alito say this? And that's what happens when you don't have, and like you hear a recording, you hear a woman's voice, but that voice is not her voice, because I know her voice because we hear her voice from other interviews and things like that. So y'all, this is just a prime example. And I wanted to put this out here. One, to tell you that he was on a hot mic, if you will. And on two is to say, this is how you vet sources. Now, it could come out that she did say that, but then she needs to come forward and say, yes, she said that, because people are asking a lot of questions. And could this come from some of the misinformation and disinformation that is being generated out here in AI world? Give you another example. I do not, Apple, Facebook, Instagram, Grammarly, OpenAI, whoever you are, I do not like how the powered AI is taking over our smartphones and the way we are even typing in our response to things, and how AI will decide, oh, she means to say it this way. No, I don't. So then you send it thinking you're sending it the way you thought you were sending it. And then you look at it later and say, well, I didn't say that, because they have changed it around. So is this a part of what happened? We got to pay attention, y'all, even to what we're typing and what we're putting out there, because AI is generating its own thing, thinking we meant to say something else. No, I meant what I said when I typed it in the phone or on the smart device or on the computer. Please put it out there accordingly. And I really did. I tagged Apple on X yesterday, like, hey, while y'all at y'all's convention, can y'all fix this? Because I don't like this. I want to be able to opt out of my text messages being changed based upon what you think I want to say. I just want that changed. I want it changed. So y'all, this is what's happening. This is what's out there. And then we also, when we're talking about the justices, we also must note, and I thought this was very eye-opening, that Justice Roberts declined an invitation to meet with the Democratic senators who wants to talk about Supreme Court ethics and the flags that flew upside down outside Justice Alito's home. He refused to meet with them. That's eye-opening. Kim Edmondson says, I meant what I typed. That's right, I meant what I typed. I know what I said. Marion Jackson says, Justice Brown Jackson is setting a standard of transparency. Exactly. And I love that. I love that. All right, y'all. The former guy met with his parole officer, but the rules appear to have changed. Can we say privilege? Like, what the what? But I'm glad that the Legal Aid Society says, oh, not today, not here. Yo, there's something, they need to be careful what they're doing for this guy, because other people are saying, go ahead and set that precedent if you want to, because we're going to come behind it and we're going to protest behind it and we're going to use this for our own people. So Legal Aid came out and sent this message to the New York City public defenders on their special sentencing arraignment, And it says the option of joining these interviews virtually is typically not extended to the people we represent either. To ensure integrity and fairness, we call on the NYC Department of Probation to ensure that all New Yorkers, regardless of income, status, or class, receive the same pre-sentencing opportunities. They go on to say all people convicted of crime should be allowed counsel in their probation interview, not just billionaires, because he got to have counsel, and he also had the commissioner in there. I'm like, how the commissioner in your hearing? Like, what is going on? How do you even have counsel in there? No one's able to do that. So why have the rules changed? Let me go on with their quote. It says, this is just another example of the two-tiered system of justice. Pre-sentencing interviews with probation officers influence sentencing, and public defenders are deprived of joining their clients for these meetings. And again, this is coming out of the Legal Aid Society. This is not okay. And we all need to be stepping back, saying, okay, what about my loved ones who have been incarcerated or been convicted? What about people that I'm connected to? How do I advocate on their behalf? Y'all, this is information we need to know, because this is real. So they made some changes for him. And it's not okay. It's not okay. And people are very upset about it. Now, speaking of the former guy, y'all need to pay attention to this. And I'm trying to get a friend of mine to come on from Red, Wine, and Blue to talk about Project 2025. Now everybody wants to talk about it. I want y'all to know News in Motion been talking about it for over a year now. It started out with 489 pages. It grew to 900 and something pages, which we sent to y'all in the Friday rundown, the entire PDF. And now it's over 1,000 pages. Now, people are trying to separate the spin is that Donald Trump has nothing to do with. That's a bold-faced lie. He was working right alongside the Heritage Foundation and making sure these things are in place. Donita said exactly, two-tier justice system. This is not okay. And so this all becomes a part of the Project 2025, and we need to talk about it. And USA Today did a great report, as well as NBC News. So I'm going to just take it straight from them. That's what we do. We're aggregated news. We're making sure that you have an opportunity to hear this news where you may not hear it from another platform. Okay? Kim Edmondson says NIM has been we've been talking about it. So listen, Steve Bannon, who has advised former President Donald Trump, just warned. Now, even the language, didn't they tell you to report to jail? You got till July 1st. You're supposed to report to jail. Okay, you are supposed to report. Although he's saying he don't know if he's gonna report. Please, y'all, go get him. Just go get him. Anyway, Steve Bannon, who has advised former President Donald Trump, just warned the last two ex-FBI directors to get your passport. This is a direct quote, y'all. Get your passport. Get the hell out of the country because, hey, we're coming. Say what? Like, you just gonna do that? Like, seriously, y'all, this is what's happening. We need to pay attention. So the presumptive Republican nominee's threats about imprisoning his opponents, and he put it out there. And then he even said, and I'm like, did y'all just cheer for him saying, I don't care about you, I just want your vote? Like, did y'all hear him say that? Because they were just cheering. I'm like, and then he started talking about the whales and being electrocuted, or the sharks and being electrocuted. Dude, what? Make it coherent. And the weather didn't do that to you. It was 110 degrees. You knew that before. You should have been hydrated, but you should have made sure you had your notes. And if the prompters were on, you should have had paper, postcards, index cards, something. But you were jumping all over the place. So this is the rhetoric. So the nominee threatened imprisoning his opponents. Yeah, and it's caused a great concern. What's up, Shirley Nicholson? And so Steve Bannon, who served as the advisor in 2016 campaign in the White House during his first term, said on his War Room podcast Saturday that McCabe and his predecessor would be targeted by Trump White House for having investigated Trump's alleged collusion with Russia and other activities. So this is what we doing. He says we will hunt you down. Yo, he said this. That tape's out there too, and the transcript. And I listened. And I should not have listened. My husband said, there's some things, Gail, you just can't listen to. Because I was like, what in the world? Y'all, and I said, no, I need to listen. We all need to know, not to be afraid, but to know what's really going on, y'all. He said, I will hunt you down. This is Steve Bannon. I will hunt you down. Yeah. So McCabe was on CNN on yesterday, and he said he's very concerned about what Trump and the Steve Bannons might do in a second term if he defeats President Joe Biden in November. He says, as an FBI former director, he said, seriously, he said, we need to pay attention to what's being said and why it's being said. Again, y'all should really read Project 2025. I know it's about 1,000, it's a little over 1,000 pages now. Just skim through it. Find the highlights. They're not playing. They're telling us what they're going to do. And I don't know why, but yeah, I'll get to that in a moment. So NBC News is saying Steve Bannon has used his online show to push Trump-supporting Republicans to fill low-level party positions. And so I started doing my fact checking because I want to bring to you all facts. And as I'm going through everything, that's exactly what's happening. Down to aides, to administrative staff, to just different low-level, low-paying jobs. They're putting them in, and they're some of their interviewing questions. And I'm like, is this true? So I had to go fact check it. Some of their interviewing questions, like if you were asked, it's almost like, are y'all threatening these? Like, I wouldn't want to work for you. I don't care what side of the aisle I'm on. Like some of the questions are, if you were asked to share some things that are going on in the office, how would you respond? Those are like some questions. So they're checking to see how they're going to even respond. Dr. Antoinette said his people are the ones who booed the Capitol. I'm getting there. Yeah, girl. They booed the two Capitol Police people who were protecting them in Philadelphia. That happened. They got up, turned their backs on the two men, and walked out. Like, they were protecting, the two in blue were protecting the Capitol and the people, and y'all booed them and got up and walked out. That happened in Philadelphia, and this is all coming from this kind of rhetoric, y'all. It is. Steve Bannon has been a key voice, as all of you know. Again, he's been reported to show up in jail, but who knows? He describes his program as the Matrix. Y'all, this is public information. Steve Bannon has described the program as a matrix that not only feeds grassroots conservatives, but stands behind the elected Republicans who are willing to buck the party line. He claims that ousting of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker as the show's biggest accomplishment. He said that they did that successfully, and that was their biggest accomplishment, to get rid of Kevin McCarthy. I'm like, say what? So in this interview, they interviewed more than a dozen people over the last couple of weeks, including the Republican Party. They call it the Trump orbit, revealed an admiration for Bannon. Like, people are like loving him, and they're like, we'll support you, we'll be with you. He's like, he doesn't know if he's going to show to turn himself in or not, because if he shows up and turn himself in, who's going to then fill his shoes to continue what's happening here and how it's unfolding here, y'all? And so he says in a quote, when they ask him, are you reporting? He says, who says I'm reporting? He says, the war room cannot and will not be silent. And if I leave, no one's going to do what I'm willing to do. Those are the words of Steve Bannon. That's for real. Those are his words. Yeah, we need to pay attention to this and stop thinking the okey doke like nothing's gonna happen, because it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I will not have time to go over what's happening with American Airlines and the NAACP, because the NAA, well, I guess I'm here, might as well go. I'm just not gonna go all the way in. The NAACP has threatened to reinstate the travel advisory against American Airlines. Y'all, I thought it was just the 8 brothers on the plane, although that's wrong within itself that they had taken off. They're talking about they had body odor, but they weren't even sitting together. Many of them didn't even know each other. Then they come to find out about the family who was in first class, and they tried to blame the woman for slamming the door. Then they tried to blame some black children. Y'all, I guess it's on and popping. When I read the report from the NAACP, I said, well, Delta, I guess I'll stick with you. You and Southwest. I'm not doing Spirit. You and Southwest Airlines, because I can't fly no American. Y'all, the list is so long. I'm sitting there going, what in the world? Y'all, that's happening right now. So American Airlines, of course, they're investigating and they're checking it out and they're doing some interviews. It's on and popping. So that's happening. So I'm going to put that whole story in the Friday rundown so you can read it for yourself. And then on top of that, y'all, with everything that's going on, you would think we'd be like, let's get registered to vote. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Well, James Carville, y'all know him, the longtime Democratic strategist. He says, and I quote, I am really afraid. Now listen, if James Carville says he's afraid, y'all better get afraid. Now, he's saying that a key group of voters are disengaging due to the presumptive presidential nominees. Both, okay, y'all? He's talking about both. He says the young people are like, we're not feeling these 80-year-old guys. So they did some interviews, and he was talking to people, and he said, bottom line is they feel like 2 80-year-old guys don't mean much to them. He says, I'm really afraid that we are going to lose a generation of young people. He says they have the energy, they have the motivation, they have a mindset, they're donating to different causes, but they cannot seem to get behind either one of these 80-year-old men. He says 1/3 of the U.S. voters under the age of 40 would support President Joe Biden when asked who would they back if they absolutely had to vote if the elections were held today. And this is according to an NPR report on a recent Gen Forward survey at the University of Chicago. Now, the current president, y'all to know this, the current president has lost support among young Black, Latino, and Asian American voters in that 40-year-old age group as well, according to the survey. Davia says, wish I'd known about American Airlines situation. I just booked a flight. Well, girl, we're going to pray that you go and and right now there probably won't be any problem because they've been exposed. So we're just going to pray you get, you just have a great flight, girl. Go and do what you need to do. But yeah, listen, when I saw that, I was like, say what? That's American Airlines. So y'all, and they also said in the survey that former President Donald Trump received 2 less points than Biden among American voters under age 40 when asked the same question in the survey. Bottom line, they're just not feeling it. So y'all know, I had to go talk to my millennials. Y'all voting? Like, who y'all voting for? And they said there's no excitement. They're like, and they all said, of course we're voting. We hear you talk about it every day. We do research with you every day, and we know the importance of voting. Latrice Jones says, I'm with the young people. It's hard, but I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to stay at home that day. I know you're not either, Latrice. So in my conversations with the millennials, they were like, you don't get it. Like, we're not excited at all. They're like, there's nobody else? I said, well, y'all, at this point, it's too late. They're like, it's never too late. They said, we can get you a new person tomorrow. And I said, well, yeah, but you got to vet them. So I was like giving them, they were like, see, that's what we don't do. Now, this is why I love the millennials. My girl was here with me this weekend. And she just loved it. She was loved on by so many people at every place we were going for graduation and everything. And I got to say this, Demi and I were texting each other afterwards. She was like, oh my gosh, I got to give, because she calls my daughter baby boss. But the two of them, when they saw each other and the love and they're just so genuine and exciting, and just the way they were talking. And Demia said something that I won't forget, and I don't think she minds me sharing this here, is that we can learn so much from this millennial age group. We can learn so much from this group because they really have it and they're not afraid. So what the millennials were saying to me were that y'all think we can't put somebody else up, because y'all have this limited mindset of how things are. They said we've broken the way we do corporate America. We've broken the way we go to work. We tell them what we're going to do. And I was like, well, y'all kind of do that, don't y'all? They're like, because we have the talent and they want the talent and they recognize the talent. Y'all had loyalty in your days. We don't have loyalty. Corporations don't have loyalty with us, and we don't have loyalty with the corporation. They were like, do you see how protests just popped off after the murder of George Floyd? They said we can protest for whatever we want to if we're willing to come together and take a stand. They were like, we can find somebody and have them ready for a general election. I said, but you have to put them on the ballot. They're like, it's called write-in. And they were serious. And so I said, so are y'all voting? And they're like, yeah, but we may be writing in people. I said, but do y'all understand? They said, we don't care about that. And I'm listening to them because I had to back up and say, be quiet and listen. They were like, as long as we are exercising our right to vote, that's what we're willing to do. But we're not saying that we're voting for one of these two people. And they said, but you're thinking, and they got me, y'all. They called me, and I got to be transparent here on this emotion. They called me on it. They said, you're sitting there thinking, well, you're kind of like messing with the vote because there's only two people. They're like, we don't think that way. We're like, we could really, as millennials, and they said the way we do chats, we can get out a 20 million chat to say, vote for this, write this person. And they go, we will all roll up in there and write that person in, and y'all would never know it. And all of a sudden, at the night of November the 5th, y'all hear Lucy Liu just won president. Y'all be like, well, how? And they said, because the millennials wrote them in and didn't tell y'all. And then they were telling me, they're like, y'all talk too much. I was like, dang. So they were really schooling me on where they are and the way they think. Dr. Annette says, I respect, listen, they are just like down with it. Like, this is how we roll and this is what we're going to do. And I said, well, at least the country is great in y'all's hands if we can just get it to you all. And I said, but y'all also are just like, this is what we're going to do. And they're like, yeah, we're not going to have a meeting. And I'm like, wow, but that's their thought process. They said a lot of us actually think a lot. And I thought, wow, that's how you roll. But they're not excited at all about the two presumptive nominees. They're not excited at all. But I'm glad to hear that this group of millennials said, we will vote, because if not, you'll hurt us. And I said, yeah, pretty much. They said, we'll vote, but it may not be at all what you think and how you think we're going to vote. Kim Edmondson says, we better listen. I had to sit back and say, let me pay attention to what they're saying and why they're saying it. They also said to me, because I asked this question as well to them. I said, and Carl Wright still wants me to put together a resource guide. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'll see. But they were saying to me, they said, it's hard for us to even get our peers to vote who have not registered to vote. And I said, why? They said, because they're looking at these two old guys. And then one of them said, who happens to be white, two white guys that they don't want. They said, one's just crazy. And they actually used that word, crazy. They said, the other one just can't even walk. They said, look at the way he walks. I said, y'all, his walking has nothing to do with his with his mind. They're like, okay. Excuse me. They said, okay, okay, we'll give you that. But there's no excitement. They go, there's no excitement. They said, what? We have nothing to be excited about. So there's that. So we have to pay attention to that. Y'all know Apple kicked off yesterday its annual worldwide developers. Y'all, they're coming out with, I think it's called Apple Intelligence. And they said, that's the real AI. I said, y'all bluffing here. Y'all in trouble now. So y'all trying to we're not listening. Either you're going to come out with something new or you're not. So that's interesting. I want to tell you real quick about Walmart and other food retailers. Do y'all know that? I didn't know this. until I started digging into it yesterday. Did y'all know that Walmart have to pay up $45 million after settling a food overcharging lawsuit? I said, that's a real thing. I said, wow. Y'all, do y'all know there are people now, when they come home from the grocery store, they're taking a package of their chicken, their steaks, whatever, and they're weighing them themselves. And as they're weighing them, they're deciding if it's really for real. For example, these ladies saw that something was, I don't remember how many pounds. They said on the package it was 4 pounds and something. It was a price. But when they got home, they weighed it. It was only 2.1 pounds. And they were like, oh no, you can't give my money back. And they just sued y'all. Walmart just settled this in April 2024. And people are saying, but it's still happening. So they're also looking at other grocery stores. So they're like saying, be careful out here, y'all. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Y'all also, Southern Baptist Convention's annual meeting this week in Indianapolis. They are ready to vote that there's no churches under the Southern Baptist that have female women pastors. And they saying they serious. Like if you are a female pastor and you have a church, you can't be with us. All right, bye-bye. Just bye. We don't need you either. Dr. Bryce said, so true. We wake up and 50 cents will be president in power. Will be strategy playbook. Listen, Dr. Bryce, I'm laughing, but you could be right. As long as it's not Kanye, okay? Or Yay, whatever his name is. Donita says, I understand their thinking. However, we have to be aware that all decisions have consequences. Now, Donita, that was my take. I'm telling you, that was my take. That was my pushback to them. And they were like, you stuck on Democrat and Republican. I said, well, that's what we have. They're like, that's what y'all have. They said, there's an independent party, there's a Green Party, there's a Libertarian Party. And I was like, well, yeah, which I was really glad that they remembered all those things we've had conversations about. They said, so we can roll up with somebody. And I said, but you understand. They said, and this is how, because I said something about, y'all would like Beyonce in power or something I said. And they were like, but she's so educated, she knows to have everybody around her who could do the job. And all she is just sitting in the seat. And I was like, y'all are serious. And that's their take. Dr. Annette says, good, everything is upcharged. I've done it. Listen, shrinkflation, yes. Yes, girl, Walmart is overcharging. Davia says, I get it. I'm not excited either. I'm more motivated by fear. Me too, girl, me too. Of the most negative outcome. I'm going to do what I have to do to preserve our flawed, if I wear these glasses, I can read, right? Our flawed democracy. So yes, and I am too. I have to be honest. Thank you for putting it out there, Davia. It's fear. And they said, they called me, my daughter called me, and she said, Mom, you just afraid that you're going to get that dude in there. And this is what I love about this millennial team. They all say it. And there's 13, 14 of them. Now, they all say it. I'm sorry, Miss Jesus. You afraid? I said, okay, y'all really calling me. And they're all Christians. I said, okay, so y'all really calling me on. They said, no matter who in office, why would you be afraid of the outcome? They said, don't you trust Jesus? That's how they talk to me. Dr. Antoinette says the Southern Baptist Conference was developed so their missionaries could keep Africans enslaved and go to Africa to evangelize. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. So y'all, here's the inspirational message, and we're out of here. And we're going to hopefully talk more this week on Project 2025. Everybody else has been talking about it. We've been talking about it for about over a year. Everybody else is on the bandwagon now. Yo, I must say, I love news and emotion. I do. When I see some of the news alerts lately, I'm like, we talked about that, we talked about that, we talked about that. Y'all, stuff that even shows are talking about even this past weekend and even yesterday. I was sitting around, we talked about that already. Like, this ain't news. We done talked about news and emotion. So we have been talking about it. So here is the inspirational message. Bless me indeed. Y'all, this has been in my spirit for a moment. God bless me indeed. God bless everybody who's tuning in and listening indeed. Bless. Yeah, Kim Emerson, they called me all the way out. But they always do. But I love the energy of this group. Yeah, they call me out. So y'all, Jabez, and this is out of the ESV. For those of you who are not followers of Jesus, the ESV is the English Standard Version of the Bible. And we understand that some of you may get off here at this time because I normally bring in the Bible during the inspirational message. Some of you say you're from different religious backgrounds, but you still hang out because you still get something from the message. We understand that, and thank you for hanging out with us. So the ESV says, Jabez called upon God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my border." Some translation says my territory, and that your hand might be with me, and that you would keep me from harm, so that it may not bring me pain. And God granted what he asked. Today, I'm asking God for everyone who's currently listening, watching the replay, watching the live broadcast, listening in from the podcast, however you're doing it. If you get this even a year later, that God will bless you indeed, that he will enlarge your territory, that he will identify everyone who you need to hear from, that he will bring people into your business that you never thought even knew that you existed, that he will bring people into your family who's going to bless you, that he will send financial resources to you from the north, south, east, and west without you even requesting it, that he will grant you all the resources and tools and equip you with everything you need. As your territory is being enlarged, I am praying that he will give you the capacity to receive all the increase that he's given to you, and that God's hand will be upon you every step of the way. Everything you do, that his hand is upon you. Every word you speak, that his hand is upon your mouth and your tongue, and including your esophagus, because it comes from the gut. So even your gut, everything that it comes from, I'm praying that God's hand is on your mind, your mental capacity, your emotions, that your brain, that all the brain wave, what's it called, Davia, your hippocampus, all of that will connect as it's supposed to connect, so that his hand will be upon you, so that everything will be great, that you will exercise the authority that Jesus has given to you, that you will stand on the promises, that you will never waver, that you will have faith as small as a mustard seed, and from that faith, big things will come. I also pray that God will keep you and me from harm, that no evil will come to us. The word says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. So I'm praying that as weapons are being formed, they are crumbling and falling, that weapons that are being shot at you, they miss you, and they turn around and they go right back to the person who sent them. I pray that everybody who's trying to dig a ditch for you will dig it so deep that they fall in. Yep, that's what I'm speaking today. And that you will always rise up. You will always be the head and not the tail. You will always be more than a conqueror. You will always be bold and filled with confidence. Yeah, so that no harm and no pain will come to you. And if any pain does creep up, that you will use that pain for the good of the Lord. And I believe today that God will grant all of our requests. So back to what the young people, the millennials, said to me. No matter who's in office, we serve a living God who's going to protect every step that we make. We serve a living God who's going to look out for us and protect us. We serve a living God who's going to have a hedge of protection around us. That's who we serve. Today, as I shared with Isaiah this morning in the green room, I believe that this is going to be a day filled with miracles. I've been listening to a pastor. I send some of these out on Instagram. He does a prayer from Africa called This Week. And he prays in this week. And I thought about it. And I was telling him, I said, when I pray, I always say today, today, today. And he said, yes. I said, so today, I understand the week, but today I want you to have a measure of grace, favor, and miracles that's literally going to send you in a place of aha and surprise. But when you think about the Lord and all he's done for you, may your soul cry out, hallelujah. All right, y'all, that's all I have for you today. Until tomorrow, I am your host, Gail Dudley. This has been News in Motion. Again, we have this week and next week. Next week is our anniversary week. It is 4 years. I gave permission to the advisory team, so I'm sharing it here. If you want to cash out $4, please do so. You can go to NIM today to do it. They're like, it's 4 years. Let's get some things going. Let's get some things moving. If you don't have Cash App and you want to send Zelle, just inbox us. We'll give you the Zelle information, or if you want to send a check. And you can always get more than $4 if you choose. Along with that, after the 20th, we're on a 2-week break. It might be 3. And then the young people will take over in July. As of July the 9th, I will show my face on July the 18th to give a recap of the RNC, maybe. And then we have our whole break in August, and we'll be back in September. When we return in September, it's going to be everything full on with voting registration, and everything else. All right, y'all, I'm out. Be safe, be bold, however you say that, and make some bold moves. We're out.
News in motion.